On the third day of BrandMAS, my true self gave to me a niche to help with my copy. See what I did there? I say copy, actually a niche, what we're talking about today, helps with everything. So much more than just your copy. It's your content, it's who you are talking to, which leads me straight on to tip number 1. They're kind of tips and they're quite actionable, so do grab a pen and a piece of paper and why not join in? Check in with your niche. You know, you might think that you're quite niched, but you might be able to take it a step further. Maybe you don't like the idea of a niche. However, one thing I do say to that that's completely your choice whether you still listen to this is sometimes by talking to everybody or trying to talk to everybody in our specific field, it can end up feeling like we're talking to nobody. So you want to get specific, which links to this first one. But yeah, even though it's a smaller pool, it's more concentrated, you've got more people that want to come to you because you're talking so directly to them. Have you ever had that experience where it feels like something is just made for you? That's a niche. That is what it has the power to do. So yeah, to niche or not to niche, completely your choice. But my answer is always, hell yeah. Yeah, give it a go. So grab pen and paper. Number 1, my first tip, or just the way to do it when it comes to defining your niche, nailing your niche, is who are you talking to? Jot it down. Be specific. Like if it was an example for me, sometimes it helps examples. I would start with, I am talking to, or my target audiences, my dream clients, whichever way you want to word that, it would be entrepreneur. Then I would think, female entrepreneur. Can I go even further? Online or predominantly online, female entrepreneur. Can I niche it further? Yeah, because I think, well, if somebody who's in the first few years of business, they're already established or they're just starting out, but they have already started, they've got an idea of where they want to be, but it tends to be further down the line where they think they've tried it all, they're not getting the results they want, they're not quite as far as they want to be, and normally I just pull them back and work on their message and their niche. Work on their niche. That is my niche. So it's getting really specific. Write that down. Number 2, what are their problems? This always sounds like I've got attitude, really. It's like, what is your problem? That's how I want you to approach this. With attitude, but with kind of like an empowered attitude, we'll call it. What are their problems? Because this links to number 3, which is coming in a second. But yeah, if they've got specific problems, you can help them. So what are those problems? Write them down. For me, it would be that they're just not feeling either aligned in what they're doing, that the message isn't connecting. It could be the other side scale, the other side of it, the end of the scale, that's what I was trying to say. Talking about copy, getting my words wrong, copying words. Yeah, it could be that it's just not connecting, that it's not making the sales, it's not attracting their dream clients, their audience. So I would just write that a few different ways and see what jumps out to you, how you can start writing copy to it, because this does help. Number 3 is, what do they need? How can you solve it? And sometimes that is different. What they think they need is different to what they actually need. So you could write both sides, because really you want to write the copy to that niche. This comes on to more copywriting, but let's do it all. Is speaking to that, what they think their problems are. You might know that they need something a little bit different, but what do they need? How can you solve that problem? But how do they want it solved? It's a bit of a tricky one, but try writing it out a few different ways and see what fits, what works, what sounds specific. What would you as the consumer, if it was you, because your target audience is always you, pretty much a few steps behind, step into that and think, what would I want to hear? What would entice me? What would lure me in? Why would I want to follow these people, connect with them, buy from them? That's number 3. Number 4 is more of a general one. This is again the word specific, just because I've used it so many times. Get specific, look back at what you've written. Can you go even deeper? Say it again, talk to that person. So number 5, the last one, is to stick to it, which sounds a bit of an odd one because we've just taken you through the steps to how you get your niche. So you're thinking, yeah, I've got it now, I know it, I know who to target. Particularly helpful when you're writing copy for one. Also when you do things like Facebook ads in the future, you can really target that audience. But then you might start to wonder, so you might start to either second guess yourself a little bit, or for example, if you're networking in other groups and you see something that jumps out, it's not your ideal client, it's not your target market, however, you know that you could help with that. So you might start to then wonder a little bit and go, oh yeah, I can do that. Or maybe that's my niche. Maybe and you start sending out different messages. So go back to day number 1. Message and niche go so together, and you've got to stick to both. Test them out. You can have different niches and different messages for different audiences. If you do have multi-platforms, or say if you have different email groups, email lists, you can start to write different, but it's got to speak to that collective, if that makes sense. So yeah, stick to it, and yeah, just be specific, back to that word. That is all about how to niche, and I hope I've sold why to niche, but it does take a bit of mindset, it does take a bit of time to get your head around that, but just trust it, and trust that you are speaking directly to them, and that means they're going to connect with what you're saying and want to come to you. Okay, thank you, bye-bye.